I think one word that you mentioned that is so spot on is anticlimactic. Like
Mm.
the way that it went down, obviously, there wasn't a whole lot of excitement and celebration for Max just because of the confusion, yes, but also they don't march out the world champion trophy. So I just wanted to carve out a
Yes,
little bit of time and see if you wanted to go on a rant again about
I
why
do.
that they should, when somebody wins it in that moment with that race, no matter how many races we have remaining, we should have a celebration for that person.
Yeah, and I got back on my soapbox and actually wrote a piece for this for ESPN.com on Sunday. I had it prepared a few weeks ago. I was like, so I knew Max was going to win. And I knew that this would be the case.
Good
But so the
foresight.
reason, but again, so the Perez example from Singapore is a really good one about this. So the reason that the FIA will give Max his trophy at the end of the season at this very kind of glitzy, but ultimately quite sterile environment, this gala in Paris, he'll be dressed in a smart suit. He'll get trophies with like the winner of the World Rally Championship and all the other FIA championships. Um, but by then, the thrill of the moment has gone, and the reason that happens is because the FIA says, well, a protest could change the outcome of the championship. Which, to be fair, to last year, Mercedes only dropped their appeal into Abu Dhabi about an hour before Max got that trophy. So there is precedent there. But if you compare it to what happened with Perez, again, it's weird that the FIA's approach to a race is no, do the podium and then go to the stewards afterwards. So if you follow the same logic as the championship, you should say, all right, well, let's do the stewards first, then give the trophy for winning the race. And yet, when it comes to championship, they're like, we'll get the protests out of the way if there are any, then give you the championship. So I think it's a shame as well because the F1 trophy is a really great trophy, but I don't think. I mean, I'll ask you, Katie. Would you be able to think of it off the top of your head if someone said, "What's the world trophy F1 trophy look like?" And it's so
No.
strange, when you compare that to everything else in sports, Stanley Cup, Super Bowl. I mean, every single championship I can think of, you think of the winner holding the trophy, and you can picture the trophy in your head.
What race is it? I'm blanking with the gorilla. Like that's more iconic to me
Yeah,
than
the
that.
French Grand Prix. Yeah,
Yes, the French Grand Prix trophy I think is more iconic.
absolutely. And the funny thing with the F1 trophy is because I remember I said a couple of years ago, oh, it's nowhere to be seen, and someone who worked at F1 sent me a tweet of like, no, it's here, and it was like a little picture of them all on the grid, and it was like at the front of the grid for like a second, and that happened in Japan. The trophy was there; it was at the front of the grid, and then
Mhm.
Max wins it, and it's suddenly
But he
like,
doesn't
okay,
get
well, the trophy. It's like, where's the trophy gone? It's just not there.
well.
So I find that so strange. And
Think about all the moments with the Lombardi Trophy or the Stanley Cup.
yeah,
And then I know that those are team sports, but obviously you get those iconic moments with the drivers after they win a race with their team engineers, with everybody and the mechanics from the garage. Like you get those moments and we see those incredible celebrations. Allow them to enjoy it right then and there when he has
yeah.
accomplished an incredible feat and won his second world champion. I think that they miss out on a moment by not doing that.
Absolutely. And I think if you ask most fans of a sporting team or individual and you say, what stands in your head? I mean, for British fans, English fans of soccer, like
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Moore when England won the World Cup in 1966. I mean, that's the most famous image in football. He's holding the trophy and he's on the shoulders of his teammates. You've got that John Elway moment where he's kind of holding it up finally. And the great thing with the Lombardi trophy is when you see it getting passed around, it's got everyone's fingertips on it. It's smudged. It's just been passed around.
So
And it looks,
smudged.
yeah, and everyone's just grabbing it and they're looking at it and they're kissing it, they're hugging it, they're showing their kids. And it's like you say, that outpouring of emotion. And there still was that emotion there with F1, but it's such an easy image they could have. And actually, in the images of Max celebrating, he's got the Japanese Grand Prix trophy with him. So anyone seeing that might be like, oh, well, that must be the F1 trophy. And that was a nice trophy in itself. But yeah, just weird that it's weird. It's a weird thing. And I think until they fix it, every year I'm going to have an easy rant up my sleeve about it.
I don't blame you.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.